Well, howdy there, Internet students. It's Mr. Hermanson again. Hey, this is the test 1.1 preparations for retaking it. What you're going to do is watch this video and take notes and then do the problems that I don't do. Then you're going to turn that in. You're going to send me an attachment to an email so I can check it and make sure you're doing it right. And if you're doing it right, then I will send you the test to retake. All right? So on this first problem, we need to plot and label the rational numbers on the number line. I'll do the first one with you, and then you can do the other ones. So negative 6.1. Negative 6.1, what you want to do on all of these is start at 0. If it's a negative, you're going to go to the left, however many that is, that distance. So think of the absolute value of 6.1. If it's positive, you're going to go to the right that distance. So start at 0. And then we're going to move to the left 6.1 units. Well, if I move to the left 6 units, I end up at negative 6, so it's just a little bit more than that. So I'm going to plot that point right there, and that's letter A. Okay? So you're going to plot B and C, and I'm just going to make sure that you did that right. Okay? All right. So moving on to the next one. You could pause and do those problems if you want, or you can do them all later. It's up to you. So graphing an inequality. Okay. Now I'd like you to do both these examples. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 examples up here. I'm going to do x is less than 2. And I'll do x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay. And I'm going to do it on the same number line. Now, if it's just less than 2, that means we're not including 2. We would have an open circle then. And then you should darken into the left if it's x is less than. Okay, so that would be all of this stuff up to 2, like that. Okay. Now, don't mark up this number line. You can just watch my examples here. So for x is greater than or equal to 3, that means we are including 3 in this one. So, so we need 3 to be part of that, and the way we show that is we fill in a solid dot. Okay, and then I go to the right since it's greater than. That'd be all of this. Okay, you can put that arrow there if you want, whatever. All right, so go ahead and do D and E. You can pause now and do that, or you could wait and do them all later. All right, because I'm going to move on and show you how to do the next problems. This one says compare the 2 numbers, circle all answers that are true. What you're going to want to do on this one is think about which one is further to the right on a number line. So on a number line, that's pretty thick for a number line. On a number line, we will do, I'll just draw in an arrow like that. Okay, and let's just think about these numbers. Negative 34 would be to the left of negative 33 because if you think about 0 somewhere down this way, negative 33 would be 33 units to the left of 0, and negative 34 would be 34 units to the left of the 0, and whichever one is further left is less than. Now, whichever one is less, you want the arrow pointing towards that one. Okay, so that would be letter A. All right, you guys do the other 2 on that one. All right, I'll just do the first one. Opposite just means if it's a positive, the opposite is negative. If it's a negative, the opposite is positive. So the opposite of 5 is, let's write this, the opposite of 5 is negative 5. The opposite of negative 3 is 3. Okay, so go ahead and fill in those blanks. I'm going to move on to the next one. Pause if you need to. On this one, we're going to find the sum. Now, what I'm thinking here is if you're adding two negatives together, like say -3 and -7, you just have a whole bunch of negatives you're adding up. So just add 3 plus 7, which is 10, and then make it a negative because you're adding a bunch of negatives. Okay? Now, if one of them is negative and one of them is positive, like say -5 plus 8, then so you might want to think about a number line here. So -5 is somewhere to the left of 0. So 0, -5. And if you're adding 8, that means you're going to the right 8 units. Well, 5 units get you back to 0, so you're going to have to do 3 more units after that. Now, one thing sometimes students think about is if you're looking at these two numbers, you might think of the difference between them when one is negative and one is positive, the difference between their absolute values, that is. So ignore the negative sign here for just a second. Do 8 minus 5, which is 3. And then just think about whether it's a positive or negative. It's going to be positive since the absolute value of the higher of positive 8 is greater than the absolute value of -5. In other words, 8 is further from 0. So go ahead and do those 4 problems. Remember, when you're doing fractions, the denominator stays the same, so it's going to be out of 4, and you just have to add the numerators together. All right, finding the difference. Now, when I'm finding the difference, what I like to do is change it to addition. And here's how you do that. You would do 2, now change the minus to a plus, and since this is positive 13, we are subtracting positive 13, you just change that to a negative. And then you can use your rules that we talked about above there. Okay? So go ahead and do those. Oh, let's do one more example here. Number 10 says 8 minus -5. What I would do is 8, change that subtraction to addition, and since this is negative, I have to change it to a positive 5 and find the result. So go ahead and do those. Pause if you need to. Finding the equation that's equivalent, I just explained that up there. So use that strategy I showed you how to do there to figure out which one is equivalent. All right. To use a number line to find the sum, we're going to start at -9 down here. So we'll just put a dot there. And since we're adding, we're going to face the right. So I'm just going to use a little arrow for the way I'm facing. And if I was adding a negative, I would go backwards. So I would go this way. But if I'm adding a positive, I go this way. So I'm adding a positive, so I need to go 14 this way. 9 gets me back to 0. So I still have to go 5 more, right, to get to 14. So my answer is 5. All right. To find the difference on a number line, we would start at -9 again. So here we are. I'm subtracting, so I'm going to face this way. Now on this one, I'm subtracting a negative. So on a negative, you go backwards, 14. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow, that's the same answer as the last one. Well, it is, because -9 minus -14 is the same as -9 plus +14. Okay, so 5 is the answer. All right, you can try those. Do 25 and 26. Okay, on 27 it says write an inequality for the situation. So I'll do the first one, and then you can go ahead and do the second one. To ride the ponies at the fair, kids can be no more than 48 inches tall. First thing I want to decide is 48 included. Is 48 no more? So just talk to yourself here. Is 48 no more than 48? Yes, it is. So that means we're going to have an equal sign in it. And then think about numbers bigger, numbers smaller. So how about 49? Is 49 no more than 48? The answer to that is no. So that means we must be talking about things that are less than. So we're going to say your height, I'll use h for height, has to be less than or equal to works 48. So I'll let you try the next one. All right, just a reminder what absolute value means. It's the distance from 0. So if you think of a number line, you got 0, you got -3 over here, you got -2, -1. This space right here is 3 units. So it represents the difference between 0 and -3 on the number line. So the answer for that one is C. All right, I'll let you do number 29. And that looks like all of it. Finish up those problems. Attach them to an email so I can check them and make sure you're doing it right. And then I'll send you the retake. All right, good luck with that. Talk to you soon.